Hey guys, Bushcraft412 here. On my third try for this video. I just can't talk today, so you're going to have to excuse me. This is my last and final try at this video. We're doing a review today on the Jungle Saber Machete by Condor Knife and Tool. Picked this up from Amazon.com for about $42. And let's go through the stats real quick. What we have is an 18-inch blade made of 420 HC steel, which we're going to get to. 3/32 of an inch thick, with an impact resistant polypropelene handle with the built-in knuckle guard. It has the Mystic Camo finish, hand ground edge, as most of the Condor line does have, put to a mirror finish with a slightly convex edge. And weight is about 1 1/3 pounds. So those are the numbers. Let's talk real quick about this machete, where it falls into the marketplace, my experience with using it. I got this sucker on Tuesday, so I've had it for a couple of days now to play around with, and just my general opinions on it. So, first of all, price-wise, $43 I paid for this. Not the best value on the market, let's just put it that way. If you're really looking for value and budget, go with a cold steel machete or a marbles machete. They make really big, thick hunks of steel that will just chop through anything in that $15 to $30 range. If you're really looking for quality, you know, K-Bar and Ontario make great machetes in the $30 to $50 range. Even some of the SOG machetes are in the $15 to $30 range as well. They're also pretty good quality. So, with that said, you're not getting, you know, this is not a market leader for value. So, I bought it. I love the Condor line. This would be my 4th Condor product, and just wanted to support the company and pick out something new. So we talked about the market. Let's talk about use for this. This is a brush machete. This is not something you're going to use to take down trees and cut branches and do heavy work with. This is a very thin, 3/32 of an inch, very thin machete. It does have, you know, flex to it. So this is something you're going to use for brush, weeds, maybe light branches. You know, it's not a heavy duty, heavy use machete. This is more kind of a jungle style machete as opposed to something we'd use in a forest. But like I said, if you're really looking for something to beat on, hard use item, go with like a cold steel. You can get some of the nicer machetes there for like $22, and they're just big chunks of steel that you can just devour anything with. I'm really digging the Mystic Camo finish. According to the Condor brochure, this finish is not applied to the blade. It's actually something done to the steel to discolor it in a random fashion. So, they claim it will never rub off, that it is some kind of chemical process done to the steel and that it should never wear down. We'll see about that over time. Everybody claims that their finish is never going to rub off, but I've never had a knife that didn't lose at least a little bit of finish. So, but I do like it. I really like the design of it. It really looks nice. Give you a close-up there. And this one does have the Eye of the Condor, which most of their blades do have. Another thing I do like about Condor is that they actually stamp their blades. They don't just print it on there with some kind of like laser etching or whatever. It's actually stamped in there. So 30 years from now, you're going to know what this blade is, as opposed to a lot of the knives now that just print it on there. Comes with the standard Condor sheath, also stamped. I do like that as well. That kind of, I don't know, those kind of things. That's why I like Condor. That little attention to detail. They don't always take the cheap way on things. It's got the rotating belt loop. So, very happy with that. I've never had an issue with a Condor sheath. Complaints are just a couple. Number one, there's no reinforcement in the polypropylene handle in the knuckle guard. I really wish there was some kind of metal running through there. But there's not. Well, if there is, it's a non-magnetic. I'm not picking up anything with the magnet. Tang appears to end at the lanyard hole. So you're losing maybe about an inch, but I can't. Well, maybe there is. Maybe there's a little rat tang down there, but I can't find it with a magnet. So those are my two main complaints about the blade. Performance. I've tested this thing out on some cardboard, some bottles, took it out in the backyard and cut down some brush with it, and it works really good. Just no complaints. Very sharp. Actually, probably the sharpest machete I've ever gotten out of the box. And it does have a slightly convex edge, so it should be very easy to maintain. And probably all you need to do is hit it up with a little bit of sandpaper here and there to keep it laser sharp like that. And the last thing I want to talk about is the blade steel. 420 HC. HC is in high carbon. Normal 420 steel is pretty heavily frowned upon in the knife community. It's typically used for dive knives. It's very corrosion resistant, but doesn't hold an edge worth anything. So it's typically used in dive knives and surgical instruments where corrosion resistance is more important. A lot of very cheap knife makers use 420. It's a really cheap steel, and they can, crank knives out there for cheap. So a lot of the bad market, the flea market style knives use 420. This is 420 HC. This is something that's a high carbon version of 420, and it's on par quality wise with 440C. So it is a fairly good steel. It does take a good heat treatment to get it up to a good hardness level. And I believe Condor only hardens these to around 53 to 55. And it does take a good heat treatment to get it to that level. It's not a very naturally hard steel. So Condor does put out a lot of good quality products, so I'm not doubting their heat treatment at this point, and I'm not seeing anything that would suggest their heat treatment is bad. And for those people who are kind of doubters, you have to bear in mind that Buck has been successfully using 420 HC for quite a few years now, and their blades have been kind of revered for holding a good edge. So I have a lot of high hopes that this will be a good blade just based on the steel. Now, I've put some 420. I have that Martini knife in 420, and that thing will go dull, just cutting a piece of cardboard. This here has cut a lot of cardboard, some brush and all that, and it's still just as sharp as I got it. So it's definitely a massive improvement over normal 420, just from those initial observations. I am a little concerned about using 420 HC in a machete. Typically, machetes use carbon steel. So I'm very used to dealing with carbon steel and sharpening carbon steel. So this is kind of a new machete. It's a new experience for me. So this is something I'm definitely going to want to test long term and see how it does. And possibly do an update video on this sucker maybe 6 months or a year down the line after I've put it through some hard use to let you know how the steel stands up as a machete and how its edge holding capabilities are. I believe I already mentioned this, but typically machetes use carbon steel with a spring temper, which gives them that good flexibility and strength. But this is a stainless steel, a softer stainless steel, so I'm assuming it's still going to have that good flexibility, but I think it may suffer in toughness and edge holding capability because it doesn't have the high carbon steel. So this is going to be one big experiment. It's part of the reason why I wanted to buy this, is I did want to see how this 420 would stand up compared to the carbon steel blades, and I really like Condor as a company and like supporting them and like their products, so I wanted to get a Condor machete, and I was torn between a couple of them, and I like this one because it was, I really like that finish, and then number two, I don't have a thinner bush machete, so this kind of filled a hole in my collection as well. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This is the Condor Jungle Saber. Kind of a nice little machete. A little overpriced, I gotta say. But so far, performance-wise, has been great. And I'm really digging it so far. So, give you a close-up before we go. And just real quick before we go, I just want to say in the hand, The feel on this in the hand is actually really good. It's very lightweight. You're talking 1 1/3 pounds. This is a very quick, fast machete. This is definitely something, if you had to use this, you know, in a self-defense situation, very quick, good in the hand, quick, moves quick, good balance to it, you know, good forward balance. So overall, you know, not bad. I mean, if you're willing to spend the $40, this is definitely a good machete for you. But bear in mind, there are better deals on the market. So hope you enjoyed Bushcraft 40.